Hi, my name is Monica Moline. Welcome to my channel, Release Your Life. I'm really glad to have you here. Today I'm going to be talking about emotions. I heard on a video that I was watching today a phrase about emotions that just gets my goat every time I come across it. So I thought I would share about that with you. Hopefully it'll be something informative and you'll enjoy it at the same time. First, let me tell you about my channel. Release Your Life is about getting unstuck. I help Black and brown women in particular take a look at all the great advice that's out there and all the videos and books that have been written on how to get unstuck, but are still struggling with how to apply that in their actual lives. I want to be able to help people get a different perspective on themselves and the relationships that are most important to them. Because for me, at least in my journey, that's where the key has always been for helping me get unstuck in some aspect or particular relationship where I'm struggling. So that's the whole goal of Release Your Life, helping us all to get better at being unstuck and working our way through the stickiness that can happen in just the natural course of life. So let's talk about this video that I saw today. Bilyeu put out a video about self-sabotage. The title of it is Stop Sabotaging Yourself and Get Unstuck. He's a great guy. I think that it's a great video. Somewhere in the middle of it, though, he takes a pause to talk about a course that he has on his website. And that's great as far as it goes. But he used this phrase, emotions are not objective facts. Translation, feelings aren't facts, which is something I hear a lot in lots of different videos that talk about how we respond to our emotions. Because a lot of times, especially in depression, we start to believe that the emotion is reality. So it's meaningful, it's important to be able to say to people, yes, our emotions are not facts of our lives. They are how we feel. But, on the other hand, that's kind of a no kidding, What is it supposed to be otherwise? They don't talk about the other half of that phrase. If facts is not what an emotion is supposed to be, what should it be? Because if you just leave it there and just say, oh, feelings aren't facts, it sounds a lot like we should just throw our feelings away, discard our emotions, get rid of them, treat them like they're not important. And I don't think that's what people mean, but that's the feeling I get every time I hear somebody say that. So that's what I want to talk about today. What are our emotions for? So that we can bounce back when we hear a phrase like that makes us feel like we should just belittle our emotions, discard them, set them aside, stick them in a box in the back of the closet at the back of the house, and never pull them out again. So our emotions are part of our limbic system. They are part of how our most fundamental survival instincts work. Our emotions are tied in with our hormones and our immediate sensory perception, sight, hearing, just the feeling in the air when all of a sudden, the hair on the back of your neck stands up because your unconscious thought processes are picking up sensory input that tells you somebody is standing right behind you about to drop an ice cube down the back of your neck, right? Back in the day, before we had lots of civilization on our side, this system is what helped us stay alive. This is all about survival. Today, in modern life, our bodies are still carrying all of that sensory equipment and all of those hormonal connections that make our emotions work as part of our survival system, right? But since we're not living out in the savannah where lions and tigers and bears might be trying to run us down, a lot of times we take that emotional input and we carry it a little too far, or it gets triggered into action in situations that don't necessarily call for it. So when that happens, people want to come and tell us, hey, what you're feeling is not a fact. And they're right in that situation. But what does that mean we do with those emotions? And what I want people to understand is our feelings are important. Don't take that kind of input, feelings aren't facts, as a reason to dismiss your emotions. Rather, it's important to understand what our emotions really are. They're signals. They're part of the signaling system that we have built in to help us recognize potential hazards and also recognize situations that don't have hazard in them. Think of a traffic light, right? Here in the US, what we have are, systems everywhere that are focused on green lights, yellow lights, and red lights. Think of your emotions in the same way. Happy, peaceful, pleasant emotions are green. They're telling you, hey, my sensory input and all the hormonal systems that convey that from the brain down into the rest of the body so that our breathing slows down and we are in a more relaxed mental state and a more relaxed physical state. All of those are positive emotions, and they're literally telling us we're in a safe environment and we're okay. Life is good. When we start to feel a little bit anxious, a little uncomfortable, that's when we're in the yellow zone. All the sensory input and all those interactions going on in our bodies are translating into an emotional sense of caution. And the whole point of that experience is that we should be looking around our environment, checking to try to confirm whether there really is something that's hazardous to us, whether it's a person, whether it's, a hole in the ground that we are about to walk into because we're not paying attention. Whatever the case may be, right? We've got some degree of input that's telling us, oh, wait a minute, something might not be right here, check it out. And of course, then there's the red zone when we have intense fear, anxiety, and intense anger. All of those intense, powerful emotions that we tend to call negative, they're really sort of red flags. They're telling us, get out of this situation you're in. There is an immediate hazard. Step back, step away, put some distance there, and then take a look at it and evaluate it, right? But get safe first. That's what those emotions are for. So our whole package of emotions is designed to help us navigate our world without having to think about it. Not thinking about it is crucial to survival. We don't have time to analyze how far is the lion away, if it's going to be chasing us versus the guy next to us, or whatever, right? If there's an actual life on the line situation, we don't have time to be thinking about it. Those fractions of seconds involved in our prefrontal cortex pulling off its fabulous capacity to do abstract analysis, ain't nobody got time for that in a situation where we're being run down by a lion or being held up at gunpoint by somebody, or when a tornado is coming, just like was about to happen this afternoon here at my house. The craziness of immediate harm is too fast moving for us to depend on the fancy part of our brain. It's the more primitive part of our brain, which relies on that whole limbic system, that comes into play to recognize potential hazard in the environment, get us to step away from whatever that hazard might be far enough to get a clear perspective. Is it really dangerous? Do we need to keep running? Or, nope, not really dangerous. Things are okay. We can reassess. We can re-engage whatever we were doing. Life is fine. So that's what our emotions are for, and it bothers me to hear somebody say, oh, feelings aren't facts, and be dismissive when, in fact, this whole system is important to us. And I hope that more people who are giving advice, especially in videos, but also in books and other resources, start paying more attention to how they address that, because our feelings aren't facts, but they are critical. They are absolutely essential to us living a good, happy life. We can't dismiss what's going on in our emotional lives. And even folks like Tom Bilyeu in this particular video that I was watching today was talking about the value of how we can use our positive emotions to help us get unstuck. So, I'm aiming at not being in conflict about what our emotions are for, and what we should be doing to identify when we're using them well and maybe when we're not using them so well. Just a good topic for another video. So I'm going to ask you to give me a comment below on what you think about what I've shared today, and hit like on this video. Subscribe so that you're able to get a notification. You got to hit the notification bell too, though, so that when the next video is ready, you'll know about it and be able to jump on it really quickly. I really am very interested in hearing your comments and your thoughts about what kinds of stuck issues you've been having, what frustrations you have with the other advice that's out there, knowing that it's good, but struggling to figure out how to actually make it work when you're actually face to face with the person that you're maybe feeling stuck with. Okay? In the meantime, everybody be well. So glad you're here. Thanks for watching.